Osaka Castle, its grandeur, magnificence, and splendor, embody the ambitions and dreams of a man who rose from the dirt. He didn't inherit greatness, he built it. Brick by brick, battle by battle, vision by vision. His name was Toyotomi Hideyoshi, the son of a peasant who became the ruler of Japan. Konnichiwa. Welcome to the greatest success story of Sengoku, Japan. Today, we'll look at the life of Toyotomi Hideyoshi. Due to Hideyoshi's lowly background, little is known for certain about his early life, but according to tradition, he was born in 1537 to a peasant family in Owari, present-day Western Aichi Prefecture. His childhood name was Hiyoshimaru, and he later changed his name several times. First to Kinoshita Tokichiro, then to Kinoshita Hideyoshi and Hashiba Hideyoshi, before finally settling on Toyotomi Hideyoshi. Throughout this video, we use the name Toyotomi Hideyoshi, which is the one best remembered in history. After his father's death, Hideyoshi set off on a journey with what little money his father had left, looking for a chance to become a samurai. Several years after leaving home, he had an encounter with a man that was life-changing. Oda Nobunaga, who was at the time a lesser-known daimyo of Owari. He started working as a lowly servant for Nobunaga, but his wit, resourcefulness, and restless energy soon earned him Nobunaga's trust. After a while, he became an ashigaru or a foot soldier and quickly rose through ranks. Hideyoshi came from a humble origin, but Nobunaga was a rationalist who gave important positions to talented people, regardless of their background. Hideyoshi first showed his talent as an operational officer in 1566 during Nobunaga's campaign at the Mino province against the Saito Tatsuoki. Hideyoshi was tasked with building a castle that would serve as a base for the attack. He built Tsunomata Castle, known as the Overnight Castle, because of a legend that the castle was built overnight. Actually, the construction took several days, or possibly weeks, but the episode shows that he was a skilled castle builder. Hideyoshi's success in building the castle, which played a crucial role in defeating the Saito clan, marked the beginning of his rise. One of the greatest crises of Nobunaga's life occurred in 1570. At the same time, it was an opportunity for Hideyoshi to show his tactical brilliance. Nobunaga was laying a siege to Kanegasaki Castle, a stronghold of the Asakura clan. Everything was going as planned until something unexpected happened. Azai Nagamasa, a Nobunaga's brother-in-law who also had been his ally, betrayed him and struck from behind. Nobunaga found himself surrounded by the combined forces of the Asakura and Azai. Hideyoshi was entrusted with leading the fighting retreat. His mission: protect Nobunaga's escape at all cost. Hideyoshi coordinated a disciplined rearguard action, allowing Nobunaga to evade encirclement. This maneuver became legendary and marked Hideyoshi as a rising star in Nobunaga's ranks. Nobunaga awarded Hideyoshi with Nagahama on the northern shore of the Lake Biwa, the former domain of the Azai clan, for his service in Kanegasaki. Hideyoshi constructed his first castle. He became a daimyo with his own castle. As a senior general in Nobunaga's army, Hideyoshi was entrusted with commanding battles on various fronts. Hideyoshi especially demonstrated outstanding prowess in siege warfare, in contrast to Nobunaga, who relied on brute force. Although siege warfare can minimize casualties among the attackers, it also requires strong logistical capabilities to sustain a large besieging army, engineering skills to build fortifications and long fences, and patience, as the sieges can last for months or even years. Hideyoshi had them all. Some of Hideyoshi's famous siege wars were fought in the Chugoku campaign against the powerful Mori clan. The Miki castle was renowned as the most solid castle in the Harima province, but Hideyoshi laid a complete siege that cut off enemy supply route. After 2 years of siege, the castle became a living hell, with the soldiers pushed to starvation and even resulting to cannibalism. Bessho Nagaharu, the lord of Miki Castle, finally surrendered and committed seppuku. The siege was later referred to as the starvation siege of Miki. Takamatsu Castle in Bichu province was known as impregnable, but Hideyoshi took an innovative inundation tactic. Taking advantage of the rainy season, Hideyoshi began constructing an embankment around the castle and diverted a nearby river to surround and flood the castle. The Takamatsu Castle became like an island floating in the lake, completely cut off from the outside. The fall of the castle was only a matter of time. It was precisely during the water siege of Takamatsu that came the turning point for Hideyoshi's life. In June 1582, Hideyoshi received the startling news that his master Nobunaga had been killed by Akechi Mitsuhide in the Honno-ji temple in Kyoto. The news of his master's death saddened Hideyoshi, but he also saw an opportunity. If he is the first to defeat Mitsuhide, he can become Nobunaga's successor. He immediately made peace with the Mori clan in exchange for Shimizu Muneharu, the lord of the Takamatsu Castle, committing seppuku, and led his troops to march towards Kyoto to engage Mitsuhide in a battle. The march is known as the Great Return from Chugoku, as the 200-kilometer distance was traveled in less than 10 days. Hideyoshi had to defeat Mitsuhide before the other generals at any cost. The showdown with Mitsuhide took place in Yamazaki, halfway between Kyoto and Osaka. Hideyoshi defeated Mitsuhide. This put him in the most advantageous position to become Nobunaga's successor. However, Nobunaga's other main vassal, Shibata Katsuie, also claimed to be Nobunaga's successor. Shibata Katsuie was Nobunaga's highest-ranking retainer and nicknamed Onishibata, literally Shibata the Demon, because of his fierce battle style and immense strengths. The rivalry culminated in the Battle of Shizugatake. Katsuie's forces launched a preemptive strike against Hideyoshi's fort. At the time, Hideyoshi was on an expedition to Mino province, which allowed Katsuie's forces to take advantage of his absence. However, Hideyoshi acted with surprising speed. In a legendary feat, Hideyoshi led a forced march of 52 kilometers in just 5 hours, arriving with his troops and surprising Katsuie's forces. Hideyoshi's forces routed the attackers and pursued them to Kitanosho Castle in Echizen province, the stronghold of Katsuie. While Hideyoshi's army was besieging the castle, Katsuie begged Oichi, his wife, to escape with her daughters and seek Hideyoshi's protection. But Oichi refused, insisting that she would die with her husband once their daughters had been sent away. Katsuie and Oichi killed themselves in the burning castle. With Katsuie eliminated, Hideyoshi consolidated his power and began construction of Osaka Castle. He ordered the construction to be carried out by the daimyo, who had once been his colleagues in Nobunaga's service. This demonstrated the power transition from Nobunaga to Hideyoshi. Yet he had another rival, Tokugawa Ieyasu. Ieyasu was not Nobunaga's vassal, but an ally. Ieyasu was alarmed by Hideyoshi's rapid rise to power. Ieyasu allied himself with Oda Nobukatsu, Nobunaga's second son. In 1584, the allied forces of Ieyasu and Nobukatsu challenged Hideyoshi in the Battle of Komaki Nagakute. Following initial standoff, Hideyoshi attempted a surprise attack against Ieyasu, but Ieyasu demonstrated his military brilliance that led to a tactical victory. However, neither side could secure a decisive strategic win. Eventually, peace was brokered through hostage exchange. Ieyasu sent his second son to Hideyoshi, and Hideyoshi reciprocated with his mother and sister. In the end, Ieyasu abandoned his plan to overthrow Hideyoshi and instead chose to submit to his authority as a vassal. This confirmed Hideyoshi as the successor to Nobunaga. From here, Hideyoshi went on to conquer all of Japan, which Nobunaga had been trying to achieve. The shrewd Hideyoshi not only relied on military might, but also sought to use the authority of the imperial court. He approached the emperor and succeeded in obtaining the official rank of Kanpaku, or the imperial regent, the highest non-royal rank in the imperial court. Now Hideyoshi's order became emperor's order. He conquered Shikoku in 1585 and Kyushu in 1587. His next target was Kanto in the east. The Kanto region, which includes modern-day Tokyo, was under the rule of the Hojo clan, a powerful family based in Odawara. Hideyoshi laid a massive siege to the supposedly impregnable Odawara castle, the stronghold of the Hojo, with an army of over 200,000. 3 months later, the Hojo surrendered, giving up Kanto to Hideyoshi. Hideyoshi further gained control of the Tohoku region by confiscating the territory of disloyal daimyo. Unification of Japan was achieved. Hideyoshi, a son of a peasant, became the ruler of Japan. Hideyoshi was the embodiment of the success story in Sengoku Japan, but he suffered a major setback in his final years. Having unified Japan, he set his sights on conquering Ming China. He sent expeditionary troops to Korea, which lies between Japan and China, in what is known as the Bunroku Keicho campaign in Japan and the Imaging War in Korea. However, the Japanese troops were met with fierce resistance from the Korean and Chinese forces. Especially after the Korean Navy under Yi Sun-shin took control of the sea, the supply route was cut off and the Japanese forces struggled. With Hideyoshi's death, 6 years after the start of the invasion, Japanese forces withdrew. The expeditions exhausted warlords who fought in Korea and led to conflicts among Hideyoshi's vassals over peace negotiations. This would become one factor in the subsequent collapse of the regime he had created. On his deathbed, Hideyoshi's greatest concern was the future of his heir, extremely young Hideyori, whom he bore at the age of 57. He breathed his last after having the council of 5 elders, headed by Ieyasu, pledge to provide guardianship for Hideyori. He was 62. From the lowly son of a peasant to the architect of national unification, Toyotomi Hideyoshi defied every rule of caste, every power of tradition. This was not just the story of a warlord. It was the story of Sengoku period and the possibilities it offered. Thank you for watching. If you found the story interesting, please like and subscribe to explore more journeys into the history of Japan. ありがとうございました。さようなら。